Hey guys, so I've got one more fan kit to unbox. This time it's the PcCooler Halo. This is just a normal RGB version, but there's also a 5-volt digital RGB version. So make sure if you chase after this pack that you check for the type of RGB you need. So 5 volt or 12 volt. So this is 12 volt standard RGB. So you can see here they've got on the box, if I can get this to focus. Please focus. Okay, there we go. 72 CFM, 2000 RPM, hydraulic bearings, and if I can get the specs to show up, yep, you can see it all there. So at 29.1 dBA. So that's actually lower than the 1800 RPM Corona fan, which is rated for 54 CFM. So if we can see that over here next to it. This is the Corona, 54.51 CFM, 1800, and a higher 31.4 dBA on the Corona fan. So these Halo RGB PcCooler, the Halo RGB PcCooler model should be theoretically much better because it's less noise at a higher RPM. And the way the fan blades are designed leads me to think that it's great for static pressure and coolers, restricted airflow scenarios as well, just due to the fan blade design, which I'll show you in a minute. So you can see on the packaging, this is the triple pack. It's got 3 fans. Come on, focus. I'm going to manually focus this. 3 fans, 1 RGB controller, RGB sync cable, and gigabyte RGB sync cable, which I think is a weird little 3-pin connector that looks a bit like a power connector for your motherboard. But yeah, I'll show you when I open this. So let's get it unboxed. And I've actually got 3 of these in my case already, which I'll add a demo video. I'll just put it as a completely separate video because it saves editing time. Like I can get these out quicker, and you can just click it and take a look rather than getting a low quality edit. If I can open this thing, here we go. So you can see the box is a tight fit. So there's a pack, box inside a box, and then the 3 fans, which my crappy lighting can't really show you. So I'm going to take those out. And I think we'll go over the accessories after. We'll take a look at the fans first. So if you're a older PC gamer or builder, you might notice a similarity with these fan blades to another popular fan that's not RGB with good static pressure and similar high RPM. And for me, it's the Sight Gentle Typhoons. Although the blades don't look exactly the same, it is very similar. So I have high hopes for these when I do an actual anemometer test. So the construction is solid. The frame is similar to the Coronas, but the blades are definitely a different shape. Like I got the Corona right here actually. You can see next to it. So the Corona blades are shorter, kind of shorter, like wider, but fatter, as you can see there. While these are like longer and more sweeping. But they both have the same like anti-noise rib type pattern on the blades, on the underside of the blades. Like tessellation got turned on. Anyway, so that's the fan. It looks high quality. The blades are a similar thickness, but they feel like they've got a bit of a better finish. It's more smoothed off, which I don't know if that's actually good for airflow, but according to the specs it is. And yeah, that's the fan there. The RGB is in the hub, I'm pretty sure. There's no ring light type of RGB like with the Coronas. So this is similar to the I think it's called Deep Cool. There's a few Deep Cool RGB fans that came out that have the same type of bladed RGB effect. But I'll be able to show that to you guys, since this pack does come with a controller and it's not a single. So looking inside the box, there's 3 packs of fan screws, pretty standard. This is the type of controller that would actually come with the Corona triple pack. So, but there's no 5-pack of the PcCooler, or I would have got one to get the fan controller, but I couldn't find a 5-pack of the Halo fans yet. So the controller has a Molex, and what does it have here? Mode, speed, and light. So, sorry again for my bad lighting, but mode, speed, and light is, it's just the focus of the C920 camera. I've cleaned it and it still doesn't focus easily. There we go. So mode, speed, and light. And then we've got our bundles of, so this is the Gigabyte 5-pin RGB adapter for a Gigabyte, and it comes from a 4-pin, like it connects to 4-pin on the through the fans and goes to the Gigabyte somehow. I don't know, it's nicely included anyway. And then we've got our 3-pin splitter for plugging into the motherboard header. So you'd plug the fans use 4-pin like PWM type for the is that, yeah. So the fan connections themselves are 4-pin, and then the RGB looks like this, which is, I guess this might go in there. No, this is for splitting to the motherboard. So it's got 3 of these, 3, and then this one goes to the motherboard for your motherboard fan speed power. And then the other bundle of cables is for the RGB. So it's like a special RGB connector. It's 4-pin, but then it plugs into this different looking connection. So this plugs into that, and then 3 of these, one from each fan. Sorry for the lighting. 3 of these, one from each fan, goes to the fan control, little fan controller wire thing. So this plugs in like that. So I guess I'll wire that up now so that I can show you guys, because I'm gonna demo it anyway. Although I'm gonna wire the RGB up to my Deepcool 350 RGB kit that's in my computer, but I'm gonna just show this anyway because I can't hook all that up now. It'll take forever. Okay, so this has an arrow, and there's no arrow on the controller. Nice. I'll just assume that it's facing upwards. So I'm going to connect it like that. So this needs Molex for this. It's speed and RGB control though. It's weird. Maybe speed of the RGBs, I guess. Doesn't seem to be for the fan speed, which would be controlled via your motherboard or hub. So just undo all these, and in the box there's some instructions, but I've basically explained it all anyway. So I'll just undo all these. Just bear with me, guys. Sorry. So each one has its own RGB connector, which I'm grabbing right now. And these go into the thinner fan controller wire thing. So, oh, and the wire's also got a splitter to run to your motherboard, which is 4-pin. So this one you normally wouldn't plug in if you're going to use the controller, but if you're going to plug it, if you want to plug it to a hub or something to have that hub control, I guess. Then you'd plug it with that. Okay, so 1. 2, 3. So that's the RGB wired up, and it just needs Molex, which I have off to my side. Go. So that's that wired up. And actually, this is the 4-pin RGB from the Corona fan, which might actually plug into here. I'm not 100% sure. I think this splitter is actually for running off to an LED strip or something, but it should work for the Corona fan. Or I'm gonna fry all my fans, right? Like, I'm gonna fry something. Anyway, this is the Corona fan that I'm attempting to hook up with this extra. So this comes off the RGB splitter for the Halo fans and runs to the little remote. Okay, and then for fan power, I need to use this pack, which is for the 3 4-pin connections coming off the fans. So each fan has the 4-pin and then the RGB pin. So this is just a standard splitter for connecting multiple fans to your motherboard. So it's very straightforward. Plug it in like that. 1, 2, 3, and then I need my fan controller. Can this cable reach? Yes, barely. Okay, so that's all wired up, and I'm gonna bring over the Corona fan, which I wanted to test in my other video, but I didn't have this unboxed yet. And I'm gonna put it next to the PcCooler fans. So I've got a ton of wires on my desk at the moment, but hopefully you can see all of this, and I just need to turn the autofocus back on. There we go. So here's the Corona as well. So now I'll just turn on my power supply and hope there's no grinding noises. And we'll start with the, what will we start with? We'll give a bit of power to the PcCooler hub, because I'll need that for the RGBs to work. And then we'll try, I'm going to press the mode button, oh no, the light button, sorry. And this should turn all the RGBs on, even though this fan's not running because I haven't turned it up on the controller. The RGB is hooked up to the Halo controller. So press light. Okay, maybe it is wired wrong. Okay, it was the other way around. Okay, so the arrow actually goes on the downside on this thing, because there's no markings on the controller. The arrow has to be facing the PcCooler logo, not the buttons. So sorry if you can't see that properly, but I had it wired backwards because there's no marking. So wow, it actually synced the color of the Corona. You can't see it clearly on the camera because of its white balance setting, I think it is. I'll see if I can turn it back to like a vanilla setting. Oh, that's not working. Frame rate? That's not working. Well, it's helping a little bit. This looks black and white now. Will it show the color if I face it? Nope. Okay, wait, I'm going to try to get this color to show up on the camera now. Exposure. Okay, so turn autofocus on. Sorry about this, guys. I'm just trying to get my camera to pick up the color because it's on green right now. It's coming up as white on the camera. I'm not sure why. That's worse. Okay, I'm gonna reset that to default. Okay, default. Whatever, I'll change the color. Maybe it's just green doesn't come through that well. Okay, that's too fast. Slow down, slow down, slow down. Okay, you can see some colors coming through, so it's just the kit. Stop doing that. Okay, I'm going through modes at the moment. It's doing all its flashing stuff. Okay, so I want light. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to set it to blue because blue seems to come through fairly well. This is pink. But at least you can see the Corona lighting versus the halo lighting. And that's on pink. Wait a sec. Blue. So there's blue. And the controller just came loose because it's hanging off my table. Technical difficulty. Okay. Put it up on the table. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to make sure that's all on max speed. I'm going to turn up the... Why isn't this one spinning? So now I've got all those running. I hope my controller is actually pushing enough power to power all three fans, because it's a 12 volt fan controller, which, I don't know if I can get my camera to show it. It's just that right there. And it's got 2 channels per knob, but they're 12 volts, so I don't know if 12 volts for 3 fans will actually push enough power to get them all to max RPM, but hopefully. Hopefully. There we go. Alrighty, so now we'll get the anemometer out and see what kind of reading we get from max. Just do it on average. So max meters per second, which, actually I'll bring this up here so you can see it. There we go. So that's the actual readings I got for all the fans I've tested so far. And you can see the Corona, which is rated for 54.51 CFM at 1800 RPM. I can't do sound testing yet because I don't have a decibel meter. But you can see the peak readings I got by moving this around with its max setting. So this isn't super scientific, I'll just stress that. It's just to know that the fans are performing within the ballpark of what they say they should do. And the branded fans in these tests are the 2 top ones, the Thermaltake Ring RGB, which hit a peak of 7.9, and then the Arctic F12, which hit a peak of 5.6, and then the YGT fans, which have a similar CFM rating, also hit 5.6 peak. So, you know, that gives you an idea that at least they're not severely underperforming, which is what people would worry about when you buy a fan pack. It's like, is it actually going at the rated speed, or is it just false advertising? And then the Corona, which are, you know, they're popular, and a lot of reviewers have said that they perform like great out of the box. They hit a peak of 7.4, which is up near the branded Thermaltake rings. So that's like a testament to their performance. Even though they're rated for only 54.51 CFM, I think it's more of a quality reading. Like the peak is hitting 7.4. That means that they're pretty good, for lack of a better explanation. But yeah, so I've tested this, and I'll just show you on here. So that's at 2, which is the last max reading from just holding it around the table. I'll just reset that. Gotta hold the button down. Okay. Okay, so it's reset 0, and I'm gonna put it again on the back of the Corona right here, just to get that baseline reading, and I hold it directly against the frame, and I just move it around till I get a max reading somewhere, which is usually around where the hub meets the frame, like in the corner of it. So see how this tube runs along right here in where they intersect at the middle of the fan hub. And the highest reading I got was 7.4 when I was testing earlier. In my other video, I'm getting 6.6 already. Sometimes it takes a lot longer to actually find the peak reading. And I just managed to get a 7.6. So you can see that there, 7.6 on the 54 CFM Corona. So just use this as a rough peak reading. So it's getting a similar peak reading to branded fans or higher than branded fans that have 53 CFM, and this is 54.51 CFM. So with the YGT and the Arctic, I couldn't actually find a peak reading higher than 5.6, at least not easily. So that's the Corona, and then to the Halo, just reset this. Zero. I should do it facing so you can see the RGB as well. Okay. So yeah, see, this is what I was worried about. That doesn't seem like a 2000 RPM rating. That's 3.6 as a max. That's not good. So maybe I don't have enough power pumping through here. I'm going to actually disconnect 2 of the fans to make sure that this thing's getting enough juice. Where my fan power? That's RGB. That's so the RGB is actually staying lit up because I haven't disconnected that. This fan. Where's this cable going? It's all the way over here near my mouse. Okay, there we go. So I've disconnected, oops. I've disconnected these 2. So now the remaining fan should be getting a bit more power. I hope. It does feel like it's speeding up a bit. I'm just gonna turn it down. And then I'll spin it back up again, just to make sure that this thing's getting all the power it needs. That does feel like, yeah, it was having 3 fans hooked up to the one. Okay. Let me get this thing off the screen. .26. So it looks like 6.2's the peak reading. I don't have time to test for too long to try to find higher. Maybe it goes a little higher. It doesn't seem to be as accurate as the spec sheet says, according to, compared to the Corona. But my kids came in the room and I had to cut the video short, so I can't do more extensive testing right now because I've been busy with them. But at least for this video, thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully it gives you some point of reference when considering what fans to buy. For airflow, I think the Corona are actually a more solid pick, but if you like the RGBs, these are still great value fans for what they are, like especially considering how sturdy they feel and how sturdy the blades feel. And the static pressure might actually be higher. It's just it's not in a static pressure environment for my test. So yeah, that's it for now, and thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.